Hey, Frank, go in and automatically put you down as Sherry for some reason. Go in and change your name. Put down Lovable Frank. You know how to do that? You're muted, by the way.
I'll be doggone.
Well, it's not your fault. There's some sort of little glitch. Candy's came out right. I don't know why. There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
Candy, where are you located? Where are you?
I'm in the Goodyear office, Arizona.
Nice. Okay. Have you been on before?
No, first time.
Well, thanks for coming on. Feel welcome to participate. We don't bite.
All right.
Oh, Frank might. We're taming Frank though.
They just think I'm tougher than I am.
You're kind of like a blow pop, or no, it would be kind of like what would it be? A milk dud. Hard on the outside, creamy on the middle.
Okay, here we go. Sounds good. All right.
Here we go. At 1 o'clock, I'll let these people in. And if your name happens to be Sherry on there, it's a little glitch in the system. Go ahead and put your real name down. It'd be great. You can put down where you're located. I'm Denny Grimes. I'm coming to you from my studio in Southwest Florida. Welcome to the Mastery level role play. If you want to reach out to me, pretty easy to find. Coach Denny at Gmail. Coach Denny Grimes, I'm sorry. Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. Let me get these guys in. There we go. So what we do is practice, and this is very low pressure, small group. And I want to use a kind of a fine rubbing compound on your conversation. So if you want to participate as an agent, go down there at the bottom. You see your reactions. You can raise your hand if you want to participate as a seller or buyer, because you want to see somebody handle an objection that you might have had and didn't know how to handle, or you're preparing for an appointment and you want to practice it. That'd be great. What we practice is question-based listening in hand. So everything we do is a question. We don't make speeches, no Gettysburg addresses, no Stephen King novels. We all ask questions. All right. So today's May 10th, and we got one more to come in. Who would like to begin? And admit all. Who would like to begin? Go ahead and raise your hand, and let's go ahead and play. It's hard to play pickleball by yourself, guys. So Frank, you were the first one on. What would you like to get better at? Hi, Lori.
Well, I tell you, since I don't do them on a regular basis, how about Fizbos?
You don't do Fizbos on a regular basis?
Nope.
So what does that mean? You don't call Fizbos?
Just occasionally.
And what conversation or script do you use?
Well, I don't really have a good one.
Okay,
I
so
have one, but I don't, it's, haven't worked on it yet.
Okay, so I'll tell you what we're gonna do here. So Frank's on recon with us almost every day, so he's one of our regulars. So Frank, what I don't want to do is go do that and you not have something you can read from. Because if you're gonna make outbound calls, I'm speaking to everyone, you're competing the most profitable, the lowest hanging fruit. And if you don't practice, you'll be like a pee-wee football player going against an NFL team. Does that make sense? So Frank, I'm happy to do something else that you would like, you are somewhat skilled at, that we can make you better. Why don't we put you at the table? And
Okay.
and you are at the table of an expired. So Candy in Goodyear, can you be an expired seller at the table? He has called you, you've made the appointment. He's giving you the presentation, and now he says, are you ready to move forward? And you're going to give him the objection. The objection is we want to sleep on it.
Okay.
Are you ready, Frank?
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Go ahead.
all right, Candy, other than wanting to sleep on it, is there anything else that prevents you from working with me?
Not really. It's just that, my house has been on the market for a while and I've just been patiently waiting and nothing's happening and the rates aren't coming down and I just kind of want to take a break.
And all right, Candy, and tell me what's important about taking a break?
I don't know. I guess I just feel like if I take a break, maybe the rates will come down and my house will be off the market and I can start all over again and start the whole process over again. And people won't remember that my house was priced too high for the market.
And Candy, let's go back to, why did you originally put your house on the market?
So I'm going to pause just for a second. Don't forget the question. I'm going to pause. You guys, I use the slides behind me as memory pegs, right? Frank is following the model kind of perfectly, although he didn't do a great isolation right here, which is first base. He's now going to motivation. So great job, Frank. All right, so you've got a minute 15 yet to go. Keep going.
Candy. Candy, what made you put your house on the market in the first place?
I want to downsize.
Okay. And what's important about downsizing to you?
I just don't need a house this big anymore.
All right.
Us.
Okay. And how does that affect your family? What does that do for your family?
I guess it's just kind of like, it's just too much for us. Doesn't really affect my family. It's just too much for us as far as like, there's a whole lot of rooms that we're not using and it just makes sense right now. This time in our life is fun.
And if you could be successful in downsizing right now, how would that make you feel?
It would be great. I would love that.
All right. So how about we do this? Why don't we get together today at 3 or tomorrow at 5 and talk about the possibilities?
You're
I'm
already
sorry.
at the table.
All right. I'm sorry. I got confused here a minute.
All right.
So Candy, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and sign the paperwork and I'll leave it with you and you can sleep on it in the morning. If you decide to go ahead with it, I'll come pick up the paperwork, get your house on the market and get you to that smaller house as quick as possible.
Time. All right. Oh, where's my co-host? I mean, Garrett is my co-host. I don't know. Frank. So I have been working on Frank and others, and this is everyone has a learning experience, right? Congratulations. You did not until the end put your salesman's hat on. I was waiting for you to say, why don't we do the right thing? And I think you caught yourself and didn't say that. So I'm talking to you guys. Hear me on this. I'm asking you guys a question. And if you can have your cameras on, it'd be great. I understand if you can't. Don't you dislike people using the typical sales cliches? like, let's do the right thing and sign the paperwork. I think it's not coming from contribution. And Frank, you did a good job of digging into why is that important to you now? Big picture, I want you to understand, you have the appointment. Now, it's one thing to make the call, not get the appointment. If you have the appointment, somebody tell me what you can kind of assume.
That they're serious. They want to do it.
Well, they may still want to move. So if, hey, listen, I'm a bazillion years old. I have corny examples, right? So if you ask someone out and they say yes, that might mean, like in Dumb and Dumber, you might have a chance, right? So if you're at the table, they may still want to move. Now she's hesitant, right? So the interesting thing is, all right, so Frank, you were walking her down that road really nice. Now, I don't know why you went down. Well, I'll leave you with the paperwork overnight because I think you could have closed her. I think she could have signed the paperwork while you were there. Did anybody get the same idea of that?
Yes.
So Lori, let's go. And by the way, Kenny, you did a nice job playing that part. So let's stay in that role. Were you listening, Lori? Can you pick up from there? She wants to downsize. She's a little, and she's not really sure she wants to put her house on the market. I don't put you on. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna have you go in a second. Can you pick it up from there, Lori?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, go.
Oh, okay. And you left. So, well, how about we do this? So, just remind me, did you say you wanted to sleep on it? I'm trying to remember
She
where to
wants to
pick
sleep
up.
on it.
Yeah, okay. So how about we do this? How about if we agree to a 7-day trial period, and this will give you time to review your notes. It'll allow my team to get started on the listing so we can hit the market as soon as possible. How does that sound to you?
Okay, so what you're saying is I can actually sign all the paperwork now and then you won't list it until maybe I'm ready in a week?
Well, we won't activate the listing, but we'll start the listing agreement so that we can get started on the marketing and schedule the photography and things like that. And that way, if you have any additional questions after you sleep on it tomorrow or the next day, we can address those and then move forward with the 4-month listing. How does that sound?
That sounds good. I just want to make sure that it really sells its time and I'm not wasting my time. You know what I mean? What makes you think that you're going to sell it? Like other agency couldn't. What are you going to do different?
That's a great question. So what I'm hearing is what's important to you that it sells quickly. Is that correct?
Time. All right, see you. Time. How do you feel about that, Lori?
I felt okay. I was jumping into a scenario that I had sort of half listened to the beginning part of it. So, but I was trying to convince her to sign a 7-day agreement so that she would feel comfortable moving forward with us. But then it sounded like she was in a rush, so I'm not sure why she needed to sleep on it.
Got it. Can anyone tell me what her hesitancy is?
No.
Does anybody know what Kansi's hesitancy is?
Oh, yeah. She's afraid that it's not going to sell quicker, fast enough.
Okay, so let's talk about that. All right, so let me step in. Question. I'm gonna ask a question, then anybody else can follow up, right? I want a series of questions. So Candy, you say you're afraid it won't sell fast enough?
Well, it's just that it was on the market for 3 months and I don't know. I just don't want it to go back on the market and have it sit. You know what I mean?
I get that. And so other than that, here's my isolation. Other than that fear of it sitting, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to take advantage of the market?
No, I want to sell it.
Okay. Well, if there was 100% chance you could get it sold inside 90 days, would you put it on the market?
Absolutely.
Now, notice what I've done. But I want you to remember, and I refer to this a lot, if you can see behind me, you might have to pin me so you can read my screen. I want you to remember, in fact, memorize, there's 5 mindsets of any buyer or seller you talk to. And one is they are not interested in selling at all. That's not her. Number 2 is they have a small interest in selling it or buying. That's not her. Number 3, they have decided to buy or sell. Bingo, she's number 3. Number 4 is, yes, they're deciding if they want to use an agent or not. And number 5 is, they're going to use an agent. Is it going to be you? So what I want you to remember, and Frank, I thought you almost, and you did this pretty well, because you normally say, like, you close them for the business. Don't sell them on you. Don't take them to number 5 if they're not at number 4 yet. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
So keep it neutral. So if you could, now notice I'm not even saying me. If you knew it could be sold inside 90 days, so you could downsize, would you move forward? Okay, Candy.
Sorry. Yes, I mean, of course, that would be my motivation to sell. I mean, yeah, I would do it right now if you could guarantee it.
Then let me, so, all right, now who would have the next question for me? So that is a trial close. She still wants to move. We got past the fact. Now, by the way, can I make a statement? Can I guarantee her that property will sell?
Yes.
No.
No.
Well, yeah.
The price is right.
At the right price.
It's a trick question. If you said no, you could be right. However, if you said yes, you could be right too. How can we guarantee it's going to sell?
Price.
That'd be priced right.
Price, the right price.
There you go. So who would have, what question would you ask now? She said, yeah, if I knew for sure I could have it sold in 90 days, I would list it. Who's got a question for her now?
Are you willing to price it for it to sell in 90 days or less?
Well, what do you mean by how much slower will they have to go?
Well, obviously the market is going to determine the price. But the question is how low are you willing to go?
I'm going to stop just for a moment. There's no clock running here. Good questions, dangerous territory. What do I mean by that?
She's going to think I'm devaluing her home.
Yeah, I mean, you're there and it's not like you're on the phone. You're there. If you make your presentation 100% about beating her up from a pricing standpoint, she might start to build walls around you. So when you're making your calls to buy owners or expires, most likely they expired because it wasn't priced right. You don't want to build your presentation on price right away because they're going to think that, like, you're a doctor and you love amputating legs instead of using Band-Aids. Does that make sense? It may be a bad example. So Garrett, go down a different path. Where's Dr. Lauren? Are you on, Dr. Lauren?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you don't have your camera on, which is weird. Anyway, so Dr. Lauren, where would you go with that?
I'd go down to motivation.
Well, we already know the motivation.
Oh, I wasn't there for that, or I didn't hear it.
She wants to downsize.
Okay. Go to pain then.
Well, what we want to do to get her to hire you. So, for example, let me give you an example. So, Candy, why do you think it didn't sell the first time?
Just because of the market right now, the rates are too high. Nobody wants to buy a house.
Stop. I want you to remember what she said. When a listing expires, do you think maybe the agent's going to say, shucks, probably me, probably didn't give you the right advice on price? Or they're going to say, the market's terrible, interest rates are high. What are they going to do? They're going to shift the blame to who?
The market.
The
The market.
How do you get around that?
You talk about the homes that have sold in that amount of time. that are very similar
Bingo.
to their property.
Well, would it surprise you, Candy, that the time you were on the market for your 90 days, that 7 homes in your area, in your subdivision sold?
Yes,
So clearly it's not the market. You guys, that's golden. Sellers, most likely, you can assume that the listing agent that had expired told them, because everybody knows interest rates are high and they hear all the bad news, they're gonna blame the market. You have to show them otherwise. And other than you telling them, "Oh, the market's fine," how do you do that? Well, 7 homes sold in our subdivision the last 9 since your house came on the market. They said yes to 7 and no to you. Do you find that interesting? Where would you go next? Remember, she wants to be, she doesn't want to put it on, let it sit. She's at number 4, number 4. She's probably gonna, she's at least number 3. How would you find out if she's at number 4? Number 4 is that she is going to use an agent. Number 5 is she's going to use you. How would you find out if she's at number 4?
I mean, could you just directly ask her? Have you thought about selling this home on your own?
Yes, you could ask it that way. What's the other side of that coin?
How long are you gonna?
How long
Well,
you're gonna
Is
wait?
it FISBO or is it expired?
This is an expired.
Oh,
How about you saying, well, there's a couple options. One, you could sell it on your own, but are you willing to wait the time without any marketing? Maybe it's just gonna take longer. Are you willing to wait, longer to sell this house, or we'd like an agent to represent you? And with all the marketing and the right information, will you be willing to move forward?
Okay, all right, so there you go. That's taken the side of you're asking. I'm not afraid to ask if they're considering selling it on their own. However, I probably wouldn't ask if they're going to sell it on their own. What's the other side of the question?
But isn't she
Are
sitting
you gonna
at the table
are
already?
you gonna choose Are you gonna choose an agent to help you
Yes.
sell your home?
So it sounds like if you met an agent that could say, "Hey, look, I can guarantee we can get you moved in 90 days." Would you seriously consider hiring that agent, Candy?
yes. I guess my question would be, what are you going to do different than the other agent did?
Okay, well, we can have that conversation and all right, I'm going back to you guys. This is mastery. So we're not using Crayola as a finger painting. I want you to go, where would you go with that?
Well, first off, we would get the home sold, but what do you think your agent didn't do or didn't do that to get the home sold?
Now, what I like him doing right there, rather than going through a laundry list of all the things you do, which is boring, he's asking a question. So any question would be a good question. Okay, well, all right, let's do a postmortem. That I wouldn't say, but let's just examine what has happened. What did your agent do that you did not like? That's kind of the question you asked. So go ahead, Garrett. You're on the right track. Go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah, what did your agent do that you don't like or you didn't think the home would sell?
Well, they didn't bring enough buyers to my property to buy it.
Okay. So little to no showings?
Right.
Okay.
Hang on,
obviously-
hang on. Keep your train of thought. What did she say? They didn't bring a lot of buyers to my property. What does she mean by that, you guys?
She didn't have,
No
well,
interest.
we don't know all the
No
details.
interest.
Or the
No.
marketing sucked.
No, take her words literally. They didn't bring a lot of buyers to my home.
That she wanted the agent to literally come and show the house themselves.
Yes, yes. So you get clarity. So this is what I want you to listen for. This is the fine points. I tell you what, sellers and buyers will give you the combination of their lock if you listen and ask the right question. So, Tricia? What would you ask? What would you ask then?
So are you saying, am I hearing you say that you would prefer that the agent come along with the buyers to show the house?
I would say, tell me tell me what you mean by that.
Yeah, that's where I would go with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
So you mentioned your agent didn't bring a lot of buyers. Tell me more. What do you mean by that?
Right.
Good. Candy?
I just expected more traffic, more people coming through, looking at it, you know, when they came here, they said that they were gonna like, you know, sell it and have all this, you know, interest in the property, and I just, you know, we didn't get any bites. And I don't know why, and my property is just as good as any other house in my neighborhood.
Okay. Who's got the direction now? David, you can pop in there. Come on, babe. I know you want to play. You're muted. So where do you go next?
Did you get any feedback about the house that said there was no, that people said there was no interest?
Fair question.
Sound right.
No, I didn't. I didn't know what happened.
Okay,
Okay.
so is it important to you to get feedback? Am I hearing that? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
That's always a good question to ask in a listening presentation. It's a side road for the conversation we're having right now. So let me help you out. I'd probably go, all right.
So what if you, I don't know if you should say this at this point, but could you say, do you mind if I tell you what happens when you put a house on the market? There are 3 things that can happen.
Too soon.
Too soon. Okay.
Do you think that they should ask if the agent shared the market, market updates?
Okay, I might go there. David. Now, Laura, you're going to be on the right track here in a moment. So, this is probably where I'd go. And hear me, guys. There's more than one path. I mean, we've got a lot of minds here, and we won't play the same checkers on the checkerboard. Well, how many showings did you have, Candy?
3.
3 in 90 days?
Oh.
Yes.
And how many offers?
None.
How many showings? Now, this is an important question, guys. When you ask a question, I want to know how many showings they have. What is another one? If we want to get clarity on where this house is in the market, how do you drill down on that question? There are 3 showings in 90 days. What else should you ask?
Were there any offers?
Yeah.
I just asked that. You said no.
Oh, sorry.
Price reductions, maybe?
Not yet. You would know
What was
that.
the feedback? Why didn't you get any offers?
Well, you might, but here's what I would ask. How many showings did you have in the last 30 days? Because they might have had 3 showings right when you listed it. How many were in the last 30 days? So when you have conversations, with people, make sure, I mean, they may have had it on the market since Nixon was president and they had 3 showings, right? So how many have they had lately? All right. So then I might say, okay, well, and this is going to David's point. He's Sherry, but his name is David. I would ask, your agent told you the market was bad, right? Did your agent have any conversations with you regarding your price? No, let me ask you a question. Why am I asking that?
But that's important to know, because that'll give you the key to knowing if it's the agent or if she's just stuck on that price.
Right.
See, if you want to find out about price, you can start hammering like Garrett was kind of hammering or say, well, but what about price? Well, it puts you in a kind of a combative position when you say, well, what did your agent say about it? Now you can have a conversation and you're neutral. And the agent never said, the agent said it was priced right. Okay. Now what have you learned? Versus him, Candy saying, that's all the agent did was beat me up on price. He said it was priced wrong. Now, what did you learn by asking that question?
They're unreasonable.
You may have some wood to chop to get her into reality, right? So that's the importance. I'll write that question down. What did your agent say about price? Okay. Good. We can go on to something else. And I see Frank, Kenny, nice job. I've got Joe up on top, Gonzalo, and I got Alberto, Lori, Garrett, Tricia, Dr. Lauren Goodwin, your neighborhood doctor who does house guard, Lisa, and David. Who's up next? Who wants to grow?
If you give me, well, I'll go in a little bit. I'm just closing up the house. So if someone else wants to go, actually, I can go right now. I'm walking to my car. I'll be at the table with the seller.
All right, you're at the table with Garrett.
All right, Garrett, after we've gone over everything today, are you ready to move forward and put me to work for you?
No, not really.
Okay. And what's holding you back?
Hang on a minute. You've been hanging around Frank. You sound just like Frank.
I actually remember Frank back in what was it, game room. He was the same stone.
Yeah, so
Oh no, I'll be a little more vocal than Frank, but I'm still gonna be tough. So no, I mean, to be honest, you seem like a really nice lady, but I just don't think you're a good fit.
Okay, and tell me a little bit more about that. What's not the good fit?
I don't know. I don't think you're really the type of agent we're looking for. No offense.
Okay, listen, no offense taken at all. What is the right type of agent you're looking for?
We're looking for somebody that's really aggressive, that's going to get this property sold because we really want to get to Minnesota before the baby's born.
And the baby's due
In a couple months.
Oh, in a couple of months. Okay. And when would you ideally like to be moved in? I'm sure you want to settle and have, your wife nesting and things like that. So when ideally would you like to be moved by?
Well, we're looking for, a strong agent that hopefully can get this property under contract in a couple weeks or less.
Couple weeks, what, like 4 weeks or so? Does that sound about right? 4 or 5 weeks?
I mean, we would like it sooner, but 4 weeks is fine.
you might
Okay,
like
so how about,
hang on.
oh, yes.
I don't know where my slide is here. I gotta find it. What did you isolate when he said, why does you're not a fit, which hurts your feelings, right? Did he, and you ask him, what are you looking for in the right agent? What did he say?
He said he's looking for someone to be aggressive and get his home sold so that he can get moved into his house.
Well, you got to remember, you guys, when you're asking them why questions or what are you looking for? And he says aggressive. What's the model say?
Acknowledge, which I did. I acknowledged it.
Did you isolate?
Other than that, is there anything preventing us from moving forward today?
You just said, okay, well, and you start going on into other than aggressive, what else are you looking for? You guys don't forget, you have to isolate because there could be 2 or 3 things that may not come up unless you ask. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, how would you ask that? I mean,
I would just say, okay, I'll go through the whole thing, right? So acknowledge, yes, okay, I can appreciate that. Other than aggressive, what else are you looking for in an agent?
Perfect.
I mean, we want really strong marketing. I mean, that really kind of goes on towards the same subject though of being aggressive.
Okay, aggressive, very powerful marketing. Anything else?
So when you say here, this is a very fine point. I don't know if I'd say it in regard. Is there anything else? Let me see. You said
Anything else?
Anything else? Okay.
Because I don't want it to be a yes or no. I want it to be open-ended. So I specifically left out is because I want them to continue to go and get everything out.
Here's my point. If that's not delivered right, can you see how it can sound like, my God, is there anything else? Versus, okay, I got that.
I didn't perceive it that way.
I didn't think I came across. Good thing, Garrett, because I didn't think I came across that way.
Okay.
She came out really fast, but it wasn't like it was not like a tone like anything else. She was like, anything else? So it was just quick.
What's really cool about this, guys, when you're at the table and you're writing this down. Oh, okay. strong marketing. Yeah, okay. And how you say that, okay, what else? Now, all right, so is it does what else sound a little bit more welcoming than anything else? I'm not a hill to die on for me. Again, this is mastery. We're using a very
Not Denny, not in this New Jersey or New York area. That wouldn't fly. Maybe for people down in Florida, but up here where we get to the point in New Jersey.
There you go. Love it. All right. All right. So no, let's say we say aggressive and strong. Okay.
Aggressive, strong. Okay, so aggressive, strong marketing. Anything else?
I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, we just want to get the home sold in very, very quickly.
Very quickly. Yep, completely understand that. You mentioned the baby's coming soon. Now, if we were able to do this, let's say in 3 weeks, and get your home under contract in that amount of time, would that be a problem for you?
No, I mean, like I said, we would like to get it done as soon as possible.
Okay, so the soonest way to get that done is for us to go ahead and complete the paperwork so that I can get to work for you. Are we good with that?
Well, I'm just not quite convinced that you're, like I said, the right agent to get the job done.
Okay, I can appreciate that. How about we do this? How about we get a agreement signed for 7 days?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to work with you. You're the wrong agent. You want me to sign an agreement for 60 days? Like,
I said 7. I said 7. It's 7 days. Trial run.
Okay, and again, you're in New Jersey, so you get right to the heart of the matter. Like, good, okay. Woo. However, what if you just said, okay, wait a minute now. Let me ask you this, Garrett.
Yeah.
At what point in my presentation did you toggle that I was the wrong agent for you?
I don't know, the last agent just seemed like he was more marketing focused, and he actually had a higher price point advised, for our house as well. But
Now,
go ahead.
Now, what came out?
Price point.
Yeah. Sometimes when you go through the isolation, not all the cards are laid on the table. So one of the reasons I want you to slow down, Dr. Lauren, is far, okay, well, why don't we just try me for seven days? It wouldn't have solved the problem if he's really hung up on price, would it?
Right. So even the isolation, like I guess you said that before, the isolation, and I said anything else, he says no, but he really means there is something else.
Well, you don't know. I mean, have you ever had someone say something that wasn't 100% accurate?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know if it happens anymore out loud, but I've been in real estate a long time, as you know, 40 years. And I've had people say, and I've heard other people say that I don't want to work with a man, or I don't want to work with a woman. Right? I don't know if that still happens anymore, but
yeah.
So, all right. So now we're at the price. All right, Lauren, good job. We're gonna have a relay race. Who's carrying the baton now? You're at the price. How do you drill down on that? Who's next?
Okay, I'll go. Garrett, I didn't hear what he said. He said the other person said the price too high or too low for him. I didn't hear what he said.
I said the feedback as far as where he said the presentation went wrong. I believe that other agent had a better marketing strategy, and they had a higher price they advised us to list it at.
All right, and that was, remind me again how long ago that price was? That listing was? Because you're
So we
expert,
met
right?
up with it. You mean that agent? We met up with that agent yesterday.
Yeah. I know what you're asking, but that's not what he's hearing. You don't know what the comp is. It may not even, I hate that word comp. You don't know what the data point is.
Oh, okay.
So let me ask you this, Garrett. Did he show you anything that would warrant that number?
Yeah.
And what? All what he showed you?
He showed us prices that were similar that sold in the past.
Well, hang on a minute. This is where you're going to say, well, everything that is sold in the last, 90 days, 6 months, whatever he did, is right here in front of us. Is that property The one he showed you that would justify a higher number in these data points?
Well, I can look at his data again, but I'm not sure. I think so.
Okay, well, all right, where would you go next, you guys?
Well, I think a point would be, you know, this listing was on the market for 90 days, right? It didn't sell. Right now we have data that tells us, you know, what happened in those 90 days. And here it is, you know, this is the data that we have. This is what sold in the past 90 days. That this house didn't sell for a reason, but with this data, this is going to help us move forward. And if you really want to price, you know, if we really want to sell this house, you know, we could price it aggressively. I could be as aggressive as you want me to, but we gotta go with the data that we have in order to move forward and in order to get you guys to Minnesota.
So, Gonzalo, can you formulate that into a question instead of the speech?
Yeah, you
Okay.
lost me.
Okay, Garrett. So we do have data now. Your house didn't sell for 90 days. Here's the data that I was.
We weren't saying this was an expired necessarily, but. So
Oh,
I'm gonna,
okay.
let's say it's just not an expired for this, and it could be, and you're on the right track with an expired. This one's not an expired. I think what you're attempting to say is the same thing on the same road as me. I want him, and there's a good chance the seller won't remember what that house was. What I'm attempting to do up front is, if he's pulling, and this is where Tricia was going, if that other agent showing him the home that sold like a year ago, that may not be a valid comparable, right? So I'm going to attempt to say, okay, and this is how I'd say it. I would say, so when he offered you a higher price, did he defend it with past sales, or did he say he could get it? That's an important question. Anyone can say anything. However, if you're looking at all the data points here, and he's giving you a higher number, wouldn't you want to know how he's coming up with that? And then you might go down the road of, do you understand the dangers of overpricing a home? Let's talk about that for a moment, if you will, and we'll go on to another role play. And you can give me your feedback. I've elected to on this one, and sometimes, like on recon, we try to have 2 minutes to keep going. What I'm attempting to do is go a little bit deeper in the way I would think about it and how you would slice and dice it, because we have an hour. If you don't like that, just let me know, and I'll just make fast role plays. The other way you could go is this. I have a feeling I know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask. So Garrett, if I were to agree to that asking price, would you consider me to be your listing agent?
I would consider. I still think that one guy had a better marketing plan, but I would consider.
All right, I've got one more avenue. When you say the other agent had a better marketing plan, what is more important to you? What they show you, they do marketing wise, or what they show they do performance wise? Which is more important to you?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, I hope they do what they say.
Now, what I've done there, he's very consistent. Garrett's very consistent. The other person has a better marketing program. Now, is it possible that somebody has a slicker listing presentation and they do all of these things? Well, there's companies here that'll put their ad and all these little things and can demonstrate more marketing, but that agent doesn't do any business. Do you see that as an angle to get in there and be more competitive? By that question, I'm shifting the base from marketing to production.
Yeah.
And again, you might have to ask, and again, you can ask who he is or she is or whatever, but all right, that was pretty cool.
Question on that. So like me being a new agent, how would you combat that though if you don't have a lot of sales to back you up? Or how will you overcome that?
Anybody answer the question?
One thing I've used is talking about my brokerage and the team around me.
Yeah.
And then another strategy that we've talked about, I think on here, or maybe it's on another one that I'm on, is pairing up with a strong agent. If a concern for that person is experience, then pairing up with an experienced agent in your office. That's something that I've heard someone else do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a good question would be on something like that, Gonzalo, is that, okay, so you get an experienced agent, right? What's the weakness of an experienced agent? Anyone?
Time.
Give me more, tell me
Too
more.
busy.
Time
Trying to
to,
leave up to
Communication.
someone else, pass them off to someone else.
Yeah.
Delegating to someone else. Which
All right.
they're gonna end up with a new agent anyways, right?
So they may have experience, however, that means they're also maybe busier and you might have a chance of getting lost in the shuffle. So let me ask you, I love this one. How would you like your cake and eat it too? All right, so then why don't you ask, and you can answer this, if I ask the question, what's the advantage of someone who's newer? Now, I didn't say a new agent. You know what the difference is, don't you? Newer, strong sounds better than new. A toddler sounds better than an infant. So what would be the advantages of working with somebody that was newer, and I might even say newer and hungrier?
they're committed to anything to getting that property sold, and also, if they don't sell it, they don't eat.
Yes.
That one's good, Garrett.
You're
Did you all
welcome.
see, Gonzalo, does that help you?
I'll just patent it.
Yes, yes, but I would love to, I would like to hear Garrett answer to that, answer that question, from his seller's perspective.
Okay, Garrett. You're at the table with Gonzalo and Garrett. You're you look kind of wet behind the ears. Go.
I'm wet behind the ears.
Yep.
So are we starting from the beginning or right where?
Well, you're at the table. You looked at the house and all that, and he said, "Well, shouldn't you be in school?"
What?
If I look that young, hey, that's a compliment. My fiance said I'm looking older every day, so maybe I should hang out with you more.
No, then he says, "Well, how long?" Oh, I'll make it like this. How long have you been in real estate? And you say, "Well, this is my first year or 3 months." Okay, Gonzalo, how long have you been in real estate?
For the purpose of this, let's just say, I don't know, 1 year.
Yeah, all right, 1 year.
Okay,
All right, so he asked you how long you've been in real estate, and you say 1 year.
1 year.
Your role plan, go.
Oh, yeah, I've been in business for 1 year so far.
Gonzalo, you're the seller.
Oh, okay.
He's speaking.
So what's gonna? So you've been in the market for you've been an agent for a year. Why should I choose you versus this other agent? I mean, he's been in the industry for over 10 years and has a great history of success. Why would I choose you over someone with that great experience behind them?
Well, great question, Gonzalo. And let me ask you something. What criteria are you looking for when you're hiring that agent?
Well, I just wanna get my home sold. I wanna get the most money out of it. And more importantly, I need to move to Minnesota in about, a month. So it is important to me to get the most out of my house, the most, profit, but also to be able to sell it.
And
That's
Gonzalo,
the agent that I'm looking for.
yeah, and Gonzalo, I'd definitely love to be the agent to help you out. But let me ask you something. If I felt confident we can get you there in that time method, are you ready to move forward with me?
I would, Garrett, but no offense, there's no data to back you up. I mean, you said that you've been in the industry for a year. You only have, like four deals behind you. So, what makes you think that you could sell my house?
Well-
And not only that, but fast enough.
Well, let me ask you something. Those agents that you're looking at that are you're saying they're selling more homes, how much time you think they're going to be able to put in marketing and putting an effort into your home?
He didn't say anything about the agent selling more homes. He just said 10 years.
Oh, okay. So what, Gonzalo, what's more of interest is the amount of years that they've done business or amount of transactions they've done recently?
Good question.
Great question.
I would say the amount of transactions.
Okay. So usually, typically, the average agent only, and I'm spitballing, Danny, but you only does a couple transactions a year. With that being said, I'm experienced, I'm knowledgeable, I know what the market is. So if I feel confident I can get your home sold, like the other properties that I just sold, and get you to Minnesota, are you ready to do business?
I don't think you built the value bridge yet.
Yeah.
So here's something I want you to think about. And by the way, how long have you been in business, Gonzalo?
I've been in business on and off since 2005. I started 2005, left the industry 2009. Was a part-time realtor in California for maybe 2-3 years after that, and then 2016 I came back to the industry as a loan officer.
Got it. I got it.
Yeah.
I got a question. I got a question, or I got something.
One second.
Okay. I want to read.
So watch this. Gonzalo, 4 transactions my first year. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how many do you know how many transactions most rookie agents have in their first year?
No, I do not.
What would you see where I'm going?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And actually, it wasn't in the first year. I mean, I had 4 transactions in the last 6 months. Do you know how many agents in our MLS has had, I don't like using jargon, in our multiple listing service has had 4 transactions in 6 months? You see where I'm going?
And if you didn't have that track record,
You have to lie about it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say how many we've had.
Well, you would leverage your office. That's why
That's what I'm saying by we, yeah.
And by the way, the other thing is, Gonzalo, do you have any, you have to understand the right age. If you're talking to someone that looks like, do you have any kid? Let me say, what do you do for a living, Gonzalo?
I'm a real estate agent.
I mean, when you had a real job, what were you doing?
My background is in, I work for a petroleum company for about 20 years.
You see, what I'm doing is I want to take them back. I'll take them back. Most likely when they started, someone saw something in them and did what? Gave them a break.
Break, yeah.
The other thing is they may have kids. If you look at, they could be old enough. Say, listen, I mean, everyone starts somewhere. And here's the advantage you have with me. The agent that has 10 years experience, they may have 15 listings. Right now, you will be my only project. And this is why you have the cake and eat it too. Do you think I'm motivated to get your home sold and build my career? Do you think it means a lot to me and my family? More to me than it does the agent that has 15 listings? And you can have, and that agent that has 15 listings, guess what? They may have the buyer for it. So you like hustle, don't you? You can hire someone with 10 years experience, or you can hire Mr. Hustle. What do you want to do? Hey, I'm spitballing here. What do you like?
I like that. I do like that response a lot. And the reason I'm taking a lot of interest into this, because going back and forward within the industry, I always been more like on the buyer side. And I'm trying to get better at perhaps picking up listings, but because I probably do 3 listings a year, and maybe, you know, like 16, 17 buyers transactions. So I appreciate all this help from everyone, but this is great.
Garrett, you had a question? Or you were gonna talk about something, then I interrupted. you.
No, yeah, I was gonna redeem myself. I had a good question, but I forgot it.
Can,
Oh, you're already redeemed. You know, we love you anyway, although you never look at us.
Back to sideways.
Yes, Lisa, you were making a statement. So what were you talking about, Lisa?
can I say something about that, Denny?
Yeah, 1 second. I think Lisa had a statement to make. Then we'll go to you, David.
So I had two thoughts. Number one, how is when we're going over the objection of, I just don't think I like you, I don't know that you're the one. How many people are really going to come out and say that? Because that to me seems, I wouldn't say that to somebody. And if they push me on it, I'd lie and just be like, yeah, I don't know if our personalities are really going to jive, or I'd come up with something that's less abrasive.
Well, if you're talking to somebody in New Jersey, they'd probably say it. Right, Dr. Lawrence?
Well, yeah, down where I am in the South, I don't think that would fly.
What's your
But you're
second?
always-
What's your
You're
second?
gonna always get different personalities, and we always want to be prepared. So I just was wanting to throw you guys for a little bit of a loop and see how you guys would respond.
Yeah, I liked it. Did you have another?
I appreciate it.
question? Lisa, did you have another question? You had 2.
Oh, I did, but I kind of forgot what it was right now.
You hang out with Garrett. He can't remember things. David, you're up.
And in reference to the newer agent, I thought a good question for a newer agent to ask is that, do they think it's important for your realtor to be available for showings to a qualified buyer in short notice or on the weekends to capitalize on every possibility to sell in your desired time?
There you go.
'Cause a newer agent's definitely gonna have that time.
Yes, and you may have to sacrifice yourself on the altar of being there for a showing in order to build a track record. And if you're any good at, babysitting, washing cars, anything else like that, you might throw that in too. All right, we have time for one more quick role play. Come on. 2-minute role play. Let's go. All right, Trisha. What do you want? You're the
Okay,
agent?
David raised his hand. I guess I'll go with David.
Okay.
All right, so David is a seller at the table.
So I'm the agent. Okay.
Yeah, are
What
you-
part of the conversation are we?
This is how it starts. Are you ready to move forward, David? You give the objection. Go. 2 minutes.
Oh, so David, have I answered all your questions?
Yeah, yeah. Are you ready to move forward?
Are you ready to move forward?
Yeah. I really want to speak to my wife first before making a decision to sell the property. I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not we want to move forward with an agent or by ourselves.
Oh, I see. So it sounds like you still have some questions that you need answered. And since your wife isn't, aren't you supposed to sit with your wife at the same time? Since your wife isn't here now, I think we should set up another time where I can speak to your wife, seeing that you trying to translate you might miss some things and you still have some questions. So when's a good time I should meet with both of you?
Well, I could definitely explain back to her that what you say, but why do you feel that I'd be better working with you than if I could just put it on Zillow and sell it myself?
Well, first of all, I'm a person and I know how to work with
Question.
a person. Question. Okay. You said better with me than a singer?
Yeah,
Would
well, I'll help
you, okay, it's like this. Would you go to a dentist to get your hair cut?
I don't have hair.
You do.
No, I would not.
Good one, good
No, I
one,
would
good one.
not.
Right,
let's-
exactly.
Well,
that's-
shave your beard.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out.
Dentist.
Let me help you out. Why would you want to do this by yourself, David?
I just feel that real estates are too expensive, and I think I do it better by myself. Me and my wife feels that we can do it better by ourselves.
Okay, when you say better, what does that mean?
That you know, we'll get it sold before we'll get it sold faster and maybe for more money.
Okay, so when you decide to sell it yourself, now watch this, guys. This is a 3-point shot, nothing but net. So what I'm gonna do, so he hasn't said money yet. He's thinking money. So when you sell it, put it on the market yourself, are you gonna be cooperating with an agent that would bring you a buyer?
If there was an agent, I'd be willing to pay them.
If an agent, if I, for example, brought you an acceptable offer, you'd be willing to compensate my broker, right?
I would.
And how much would that be?
I'd negotiate it. I
Well,
don't know.
first one that speaks loses.
3%.
Okay, see? Now, I'm gonna pause here for a minute. What have I done? In the back of his mind, he keeps saying better. I could have drilled there. However, I wanted to find out if he's willing to pay a broker 3%. If it comes down to money, I just cut the money in half, didn't I?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, all right, so let me ask you, David, you said you and your wife, what do you do for a living?
I'm a barber.
And what does your wife do?
She works at a hospital.
Doing what?
She answers phones.
Okay. Where am I going, gang?
How much
Where would
disposable
they get the
income do
time
they
to do it
have?
themselves?
How much experience we have
Yeah, well,
selling real
how,
estate?
all right, let's say, use the barber example, and he's telling the truth. He used to cut hair. So how would you use the barber example?
Would you have a new or unskilled barber or somebody that is not a professional cut your hair?
Before your wedding day.
Yeah, I like that one too. Before, you know, a big event like your wedding.
Absolutely not.
No,
Right, that's to the point. Good job. One more.
Well, I don't know that a barber would do this, but maybe somebody that worked in a salon. You could say how many people have tried to color their hair or cut their hair and screwed it up and come to you to, to make it all
That's-
right.
Right. How about the coloring part? Can you go in the airport or the mall and see people that attempt to do that by themselves?
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, you would take them down. I mean, so anyway, so before you hang up, I appreciate it. It's almost happy hour. I don't care who you are. And did anybody learn anything today? Did you have an aha? Share it with me. Share it with everybody. Let me hear what you learned today, because that gives me my kicks and giggles.
I definitely know I need to think faster to be able to ask better questions.
Yeah, me too.
Good. Thank you.
I
Need
definitely
to-
think leveraging a lot of agents sell a lot of things to people about pricing and what they could do, but asking them about their performance is really important. Asking a seller about that, I think that's important when you have transactions and closed transactions that you can stand on.
Got it. You guys think go ahead.
Well,
Another
One thing I learned is don't do a speech, do a question.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ask more question all the time.
That's what you get better at. I mean, some of you guys have been on the call here a number, and I see massive changes in the way you have conversations. I coach David, every week we have a conversation, and he was like Mr. Gettysburg Address, and he's gotten it down to great questions, and you end up talking less, don't you, David?
Oh man, absolutely. So many times I want to say something and I realize they don't want me to say it. But when I ask questions, then I'm going right in the direction I need to go in. It's hard. I still fight it a lot, but I'm getting better.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Love you, mean it. Knuckle bump. And hey,
Bye-bye.
listen, if you have
Thanks,
them on,
Denny.
go to my YouTube and like, subscribe. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, all right? See ya.